And a very good Monday evening. Welcome into Time Out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy along with you for the next 30 minutes. We're going to be highlighting some of the local sporting action from the past week in sports, and we certainly hope you had a good weekend. Our highlight game this week is the Eastern Canadian 9-Ball Championships held last week at the Golden Mile Billiards. Craig Wilson of Halifax captured top prize. Second spot was captured by Daryl Kozel, and third spot was won by St. John's own Aldi Doucette. We were live at Golden Mile Billiards for all the action and had a chance to chat with the winners as well.
I think he's just going to draw it. Yeah, he's going to draw it and play the 9 in the same pocket, I believe. He's going to hit this with a lot of bottom right English. Okay, yeah. That's how he played it, but he decided to play the 9 into the upper right pocket. Yeah, he just wants to roll this in. That's a good shot. That's all.
Greg Wilson, everybody, our winner here tonight of the 6th Annual Eastern Canadian 9-Ball Championships.
And Greg, what a wonderful match that was. You were stroking good through the whole tournament there, and the stroke remained throughout this thing. From our commentary, it looked like it was going to be a whitewash on your behalf, but then the match changed. Can you comment a little bit on that?
Well, Daryl, he's never out of a match, so I mean, he made a few mistakes, you know. I got a good roll of the ball at the start of the match, and then the tide changed. The ball started rolling his way a bit, so and then he started shooting really well. So, but I had to hang in tough, and
we couldn't have had a better champion this year. Now, Greg, what does this championship mean to you? I know you've won many titles before, and your background is in snooker, but now somebody was telling me you were trying to make the transition from snooker to 9-ball, decide which one you were going to do. What does this 9-ball title mean to you? Is this one of your biggest wins?
This is the biggest win. I've always wanted to win it. It's a great tournament. It's ran very well. Brings out a lot of people. So, yeah, this is one tournament that I always want to win, and finally.
Well, congratulations to you. $2,500 is a real pleasure, and we'll see you again next year, Greg. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here with one of my favorite players here from St. John, Mr. Aldi Doucette. Now, 141 players, Aldi, came to this city, 25 by plane from Newfoundland. This is the highest finish ever by a St. John player. That deserves a lot of credit. You were down 9-2 to Peter Thompson, came back and won that match. That was incredible. Deserve a lot of credit. What did you think of the tournament?
It's a great tournament, right through. A lot of pool shooting, a lot of good players.
Yes.
I had stayed focused till the end, and it was a great time.
Well, I mean, how does it feel? I mean, I know you would have liked to win it, and I think that time will come, but I think you've certainly proved to the players in St. John here that all these guys can be beat at one time or another. And I think third place is something. Here's the trophy right here. Aldi Doucette from St. John, New Brunswick, everybody. And again, thanks, Aldi, for being here.
And it was a great tournament all the way around. Everybody who came out to the Golden Mile Billiards, they appreciate your support. And the Eastern Canadian 9-Ball Championships were a huge success once again. So congratulations to Greg Wilson of Halifax, Daryl Kozel, who captured second spot, and third spot was captured by St. John's own Aldi Doucette. Elsewhere around town, St. John Flames wrapped up their 5-game homestand with back-to-back victories against the Syracuse Crunch. A 2-1 win Thursday night and a 3-1 victory on Saturday night. And Saturday night's game at Harbor Station marked the return of Jean-Sébastien Giguère between the pipes for the Flames, and he played simply outstanding. 32 saves to seal up the win. Next action for St. John is coming up Wednesday night as they travel up Highway 7 to Fredericton to take on the Baby Habs, and the next homestand for the Flames is coming up Wednesday, October 28th, as they play host to the Providence Bruins. Don't go far. We've got more stuff lined up for you. Coming up in the second half, we'll be talking to the Vice President of the Southern Conference High School Hockey League, Bruce McDonald, and the Director of Media Relations for the High School Hockey League, Bobby Allen. Stay there.
Give me a kiss. Have a good day. Okay,
Wait.
bye.
No, wait, I'm sorry.
What?
That was not a kiss.
Oh!
That's a kiss.
Do they do this every day?
Family, isn't it about time? From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Body Break. Body Break with Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod. have Roberta Snyder, Canadian aerobic champion, leading the class today. And, you know, stepping has been around for several years, and it's still very popular because it's an easy way to move those muscles.
If you don't have time to join a class at the gym, or you feel a little intimidated to learn, stepping at home can be a safe and effective way to exercise. It's also an inexpensive piece of fitness equipment. All you have to do is pop in a video and step with the best. So to get you started, here are a few tips that will get your muscles moving and burning fat.
This is the basic step. Step up and step down. Now the V step. Each foot is placed to the far side of the bench, then back to the starting position. Add a turn to the routine. And this move is over the top and across the top. And lastly, the L step. Step to the front, then off to the side.
By mastering these moves, you can follow any routine at home. And when you're ready, add arm movements, such as bicep curls.
Hey, don't worry if you miss a beat. Just stop and pick it up again. No one will know but you. Well, until next time, keep fit and have fun.
Body break!
Body break!
This is TVNB, the New Brunswick channel, owned and operated by Fundy Communications.
And welcome back into Time Out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy, and glad to be joined in the studio tonight with Vice President of the Southern Conference High School Hockey League, Bruce McDonald. Bruce, nice to have you here.
Great to be here.
And Director of Media Relations, Bob Allen. Bob, nice to have you on the show as well.
Good to be here, Jim.
All right, let's get right to it, guys. Southern Conference High School hockey has a different look this year. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, basically, this year we've lost St. John High School, St. Malachy's, Kennebec Valley, and Simons. They've joined up in what they're going to call the Southwest League with Evanston, Oromocto, and Fredericton. So basically, we have an 8-team league now in the Southern Conference, which are all AA and A schools. So we have 2 divisions this year, Jim, which is one division is called the Harold Mays Division. That encompasses Rossay Collegiate School, Hampton High School, Harborview High School, and Rossay High School. And the other division is the Ray Thompson Division. That is Sir Jamestown Academy, St. Stephen, Fundy, and Minto.
I'm impressed. You rattled those off without even looking at a piece of paper. Nice going. So what do you look for? I mean, when people think Southern Conference High School hockey, they think St. John High, they think St. Malachy's. St. John High, of course, captured the crown last year at the LBR, a thrilling best-of-7 series between them and St. Malachy's. So are you looking at I guess we'll point this one at you, Bob, you with being with media relations, are you looking more at less people coming out to the games now with a change? I mean, change is always something that people kind of shy away from, and without the big names there, are you expecting more people at the rink or less?
I think the crowds are gonna grow this year more, Jimmy, with Hampton, the strong team that they are. It's really competitive. Like what happened last year, a lot of times the AA schools would go and play the AAA schools, and people get tired of coming into the rink and seeing 12-1, 12-2 hockey games. So I think with the AA's this year, everybody's going to be competitive, balanced out. I think there'll be more people in the rink.
So Bruce, does this open things up a little more? I mean, how tough was it to put this schedule together? There's going to be a little more travel involved this year. How receptive were the schools, and was it easy to put this thing together, or was it a little bit of, we got to try to get this done, we've got to try to get that done? I mean, because we're talking high school students here. I mean, they do have exams, they got a lot of studying to do. How much preparation was put into this?
Well, actually, this year was probably the easiest year we ever had to put the schedule together. We're playing more or less a balanced schedule this year. And in past years, it was completely unbalanced with the, you know, the AAA schools playing each other more often and the AA.
Sure.
And last year, you mentioned St. John High winning the league playoff. We also had a AA playoff final as well, which Fundy beat Hampton 2-1. So this year we'll have 1 champion in our league instead of 2, and I think our scoring race will mean more this year, and so on. So I think it should work out very well.
Fabulous. Yeah. Now, does this give a little more exposure to the AA players that are coming up through the system? Because, I mean, like Bruce mentioned, you know, there was a thrilling final in the Southern Conference High School. The AA's, you know, not to discredit them by any means, they play hard hockey and they play great hockey, but does this give them more exposure and put them up on the pedestal a little higher, Bob?
Yeah, I think so, Jimmy, with, like you said, with the AAA schools going in their own division. I think people will get out and get to see these AA kids more often, and how competitive they are, you know, coming out of Badham and Midget. And I think it's going to work out well for that.
So the schedule opens up November 2nd. Right. I got to take a look at my list because I don't remember what the games were. We've got RHS going up against HVHS.
That's Rossay High School at Harborview High School. That's going to be in Grand Bay this year. 6:30 Monday starts. So that should be good for the people out there with their new rink. And basically, Southern Conference High School hockey has been centered on our Wednesday night doubleheaders at the LBR,
sure,
which we don't have any longer in the Southern Conference. We're spread out more or less the rest of the week, with once again St. John and St. Max playing with the big guys now. So, so basically, I think it should be a very balanced league. But also, when we go back to last year, Hampton and Fundy more or less held their own against the AAA schools anyhow.
No question.
You know, it was an unbalanced schedule. However, they did get to play the big teams, and they probably beat them more often than they lost to them. So I don't think we're losing much at all, to be honest.
They did extremely well, no question about that. Speaking of ice time,
Yes.
you know, you're going to be playing out of the new facility in Grand Bay. How tough was it to lock up the ice time? We've heard, you know, with the rates going up this year for minor hockey, you know, what kind of pressure were you guys put under to try to make sure everybody had a place to play on a given night?
Well, basically, we have no say in that. That's up to the schools themselves, where they want to play, what night they want to play, what rink they want to play in, wherever they can get the ice time. But Harborview High School had that ice time last year. They had plans to come in our league last year, and at the last minute they had to fold the team. So I think they've kept that ice time from last year, and I hope it works out Monday nights for them.
Fabulous. Let's turn the page here for a minute, boys. Let's jump to the AHL. Of course, the St. John Flames off to a very good start. They're off to a 3-1-1 start. Nothing shameful about that at all. Made it to the Calder Cup Championships last year. Calder Cup final. If I get my tongue working here, we'll finally get it out. Bob, how do you think this team's going to do this year?
Well, to be honest with you, Jimmy, I don't really know because I haven't had a chance to get down much. I seen the home opener, and when I seen that home opener, she was a sleeper. But I'm sure with Jigger back now, that's certainly going to improve, and I think they're going to be all right. I don't think they're going to go as far as they did last year, but anything can happen in that.
Well, I think with Jaguar back in town, that makes a huge difference, not only with his goaltending, but he's a leader back there this year. You can tell the one game he's played, he just makes a complete difference to that team. As long as we don't get Sammy Helenas back down here, we should do all well, you know, all right.
You mentioned Jaguar.
Yes.
Of course, he played fabulous on Saturday night. 31 saves to backstop the Flames to the 3-1 victory over the Crunch. They head up to Fredericton on Wednesday night. They'll be back home on Wednesday the 28th to play Providence. You talk about Jaguar, and most of the early reports say this guy could play easily 65 games this year. Does that benefit the Flames, or does that hurt the Flames?
Well, I think the way he played Saturday night, if he plays like that every night, it's going to benefit them. But I think the main thing is to develop him for Calgary. That's their goal.
Absolutely.
I mean, I could never understand why a goalie couldn't play 60 or 65 games, because it's a 3-hour game. What's it, 3 games a week?
Yeah.
Try working 40 hours, right?
Exactly.
So I don't see a problem with that.
Beautiful. Rick Vive, comments on him. He's the new head coach behind the St. John Flames bench. You know, so far so good. Like he said, you know, the team maybe at times did look a little sluggish on defense, maybe a little sluggish on offense, but I mean, he's off to a 3-1-1 start. What do you think about Rick coming here?
Well, yeah, in my mind, Jimmy, he's got big shoes to fill from last year, Bill Stewart.
No question.
Big, you know, it's a big job coming in. Bill Stewart did a fantastic job with him last year. Of course, like you said, Rick's been around for years. He knows what he's doing. He knows the game. But are the players going to adjust to his style? You know, there's a lot there compared to last year. Bill Stewart moving in Rick Vive. That's a big jump. I think he's going to do great for the city.
Bruce?
I agree. I don't mind seeing a few 7-5 games early in the season. You want to go out there and see some action, see some goals, see some of your home players in the scoring race. Then as you get down toward playoff time, they can buckle down and start playing the defensive style that you have to play to win the playoffs.
Sure.
So I have no problem with Rick Vive being here. I think he's going to do a great job. He's got tons of experience. He's a former NHL 50-goal scorer. So I think he's going to do fine here at St. John.
I noticed you failed to mention he was a former Toronto Maple.
Well, I'm just forgetting one thing, too. Jeff Perry there, too.
Absolutely.
Jeff's been there for a while. Jeff's great with the guys.
Yes.
So I think they'll work out great,
Jeff
those
used
two.
to, I mean, it's not long ago that Jeff was lacing up the blades with the boys. He knows what it's like to be in the trenches, so I think that helps work out tremendously. You're absolutely right on that, Bob. Let's talk about the crowds down at Harbour Station so far. Not tremendous by any stretch. A lot of word around Harbour Station when you walk around in between periods. The phrase is the honeymoon's over. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Geez, I don't really know, Jimmy. I never really thought about it. But, you know, we draw 4,500, 5,000 fans a game. But then you go to Fredericton and 2,000, 2,500 people up there, and there's 1,000 from St. John. So I don't really know. I've never really thought about that.
So, I mean, they're locked into a 5-year deal. They're here for 5 years regardless. Is there something, do you think, I mean, you go to the games quite often, Bruce, is there something more that they can do? I mean, if you've ever been to a Flames game, the promotions are simply outstanding. They're always trying to keep the fans entertained. And the hockey, on given nights, yeah, like you said earlier, Bob, can be a bit sluggish at times, but most of the nights, it's pretty good back-to-back hockey. So, anything that you can think of that they can do, Bruce?
I don't know what they can do. I think getting 4,000 to 5,000 fans a game is not bad. The true hockey fans are all there anyhow. You get these people that wrote for the first few years just for the, it was a big event. I mean, that's passed.
Sure.
The true hockey fans are there. Also, the economy isn't great in St. John yet. It's picking up, but as that picks up, I'm sure the crowds will pick up. It's early in the season.
Oh, sure.
You know, I think give them some time, they'll be fine.
All right. Let's turn the page to the NHL. Of course, we always like talking about that, boys, and we talk about it here in front of the cameras, and we talk about it outside the studios as well. Give me your feeling on Canadian franchises. There's been a lot of talk last year, the past couple of years, and of course this year. Glenn Sather has gone on many occasions to say Canadian teams cannot continue to survive in this league with the NHL and Gary Bettman going south, bringing in these new American teams. With the Canadian loonie bouncing around like it is on the stock market on a daily basis, Bob, can Canadian hockey survive?
Oh, I certainly believe it can, Jimmy. With some of these new expansion teams like Nashville coming in, you know, they're going into Toronto or whatever. Yeah, I think it's going to certainly help it.
Can it? The word that we keep getting from people, though, is can it continue to pay the massive salaries that are coming down? I mean, the one that sticks out in my mind for a Canadian team is Curtis Joseph signing with the Leafs. He signs for $30 million plus. They've still got Felix Potvin there. A lot of people say trade him, but I can't understand why they would. I mean, they've got the best 1-2 punch goaltending tandem in the league right now. Do they keep Felix, or is he traded before Christmas?
Oh, he's traded to Montreal, definitely. And he's going for Brian Savage. You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
You're quoted.
I'm quoted.
You're quoted. Does Felix get traded before Christmas?
No.
He stays.
I think he'll be staying.
Okay, Glenn Healy. So
Glenn Healy. Open the door, does he?
So Glenn Healy finishes out in the IHL, or they try to trade him off as well for somebody else.
I think they'll trade him off. Potvin will stay, but I don't think he'll see the playing time.
What about the start the Leafs are off to? 3-1. Lost their first game Saturday night in Vancouver. Pat Quinn's return home. Bruce, your feelings on that? I mean, it's early. It's very early, and nobody's chilling the champagne by any stretch. But if you're a Leafs fan, you got to feel pretty good about the start that they're off to.
I wouldn't know. I don't think they should start.
You were going to say
I don't think they should start printing the Stanley Cup final tickets yet. Even if they make it there, they won't make it there. They're in the same division as Montreal this year, after all.
Yeah, but I mean, what a boost this has been. I mean, Pat Quinn behind the bench, Curtis Joseph alone has, like we keep saying it's early, but I mean, when you look at this Leafs team in the first 4 games so far this season, and you look back to the Leafs, let's say their last dozen games last season,
right?
What an amazing difference. Like, I mean, Cujo is pretty much, when the forwards are out there, the defensemen are out there, they can look back and feel confident, hey, Cujo's there, it's not a big deal. If we slack off or lay down a little bit, he can pick us up until we get back up. Was this a brilliant move by Kenny Dryden? Like, was this the general manager's move of the year, or what?
Bringing in Pat Quinn, you mean?
Well, bringing in Pat Quinn and Curtis Joseph.
It's a great move. It's a great move. Pat's got that team working on all cylinders. Defense, I'm not a Leaf fan, as you know, Jimmy, but he's got that team just flying high. The defense is playing well. And like you said, the defense, they know their job. They know who's back there to stop them. Give them a hint. Yeah, they're doing all right.
Ottawa Senators off to a perfect 3-0 start. Does that continue, or is their bubble finally burst?
Their bubble won't burst, but they're not a team that's going to be in first place in that division. They should be a playoff team this year, however. I mean, they play a good system there. They get some good players. When they get Alfredson back, that will help, of course. He's out hurt now. So if Andy Bizzo had made the team, it would have been nice.
Would have been real nice.
Where we get 20 games this year extra on TV from Ottawa. Would have been nice to see a St. John guy playing.
Absolutely.
But I think they'll make the playoffs. They'll finish behind Montreal.
Why is that not a surprise to hear that? I'm right there with you. Don't get me wrong. Ottawa. Does their bubble burst, or?
No, I agree with what Bruce said. Everything Bruce said right there. Totally agree with him.
So they keep playing. They don't play 15 games over 500, but they stay competitive.
Yes,
no question.
I think so.
Corral Center. I mean, last year the playoff drive that they had totally packed. The fans were totally into it. So it looks like the nation's capital. Hockey is alive and well.
Yes, I agree. I'd like to see a team in Hamilton too instead of Nashville. I think they do just as well there.
Yeah, but don't you think with we get back to the geographic thing, we've got Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto.
Yeah.
Is there room for Hamilton?
I think so.
With the Canadian teams complaining that they can't, I mean, you look at Montreal, okay? We're both Montreal Canadiens fans. The problems that they had in the offseason, signing Saku Koivu, a few other players, just never came together until later in the season, and they're still trying to work a couple of deals out. Now all of a sudden you bring another Canadian team in. The league is going to have to step in and try to help these guys out, according to Glenn Sather anyway.
But I don't think any team can afford to pay the salaries they're paying now. $3 million a year to a hockey player. And also, I think the Canadian teams are the backbone of the National Hockey League. You know, Nashville's new, that's great. They're going into Atlanta next year. Florida, it's all fantastic. But let's see 10 years from now what those franchises are doing. We'll see how the Canadian teams compete against them then.
So you think that this southern expansion that the NHL did is going to die?
I don't know if it will die or not, but I just can't see it being, you know, it won't save the league. I mean, you won't be getting 18,000 people a game into the rink in Nashville. I don't see that. I can't see it. This year maybe.
Sure.
But not 5 years down the road.
Does Hamilton deserve a team?
Yeah, I think so, Jimmy. Yeah, I like to see a team there. Why? Ooh, good question. You caught me. I don't really know, Jim.
Nice rink.
They do. Cops Coliseum is a beautiful facility, no question about that.
The fan base is there.
Well, that I'd have to disagree with you on.
Well, look at the Leafs. They're selling out every game. How far is Hamilton?
Well, that's where you get into that geographic picture. I mean, if you've got the Leafs trying to sell out Maple Leaf Gardens, and which will soon be the Air Canada Centre in a few months down the road, how can Hamilton... I mean, there's a ton of people living in the Ontario area, don't get me wrong, but are there enough hockey fans? Is there enough money to go around?
That's the question.
Or is that just an experiment and a chance that the NHL has to take? And
there's definitely enough hockey fans. I mean, how many Canadian people, percentage of Canadian people that are hockey fans? What would it be compared to Americans? You know,
well, it'd be pretty close, I think, right now.
You think so?
I think so. I definitely do. When Gretzky got traded to L.A., and, you know, when this whole great big expansion, Southern, Gary Bettman was rubbing his hands, and everybody in the league office was saying, we're sitting on a gold mine here, boys. We have to take advantage of this. And they certainly did. Did they flood the league? Yes, to a certain extent they did. Can the Canadian team survive with the amount of money being flipped around? That's yet to be seen. I guess we're going to have to wait on that one. Let's turn the page one more time to baseball. World Series is underway. Yankees, Padres, who do you like?
Tell you the truth, neither, Jimmy. The Expo's gone. I don't like either team, but if I was going to pick a team, I'd go with the Yankees.
Going with the Yankees. Bruce?
Well, the Expos are gone. My American League team, Cleveland's gone. That leaves the Yankees, unfortunately, to tie Montreal with 24 championships.
Well, I'm taking the Padres.
Why?
I'm taking the Padres. I like the Padres all year long. I like the job that they did, and they were my dark horse. I picked them 2 weeks ago, sitting here with Barry Johnston, and
but Kevin Brown can't pitch 7 games.
Kevin Brown can't pitch 7 games, but I mean, you got a lineup: Andrew Ashby, you got Vaughn. I mean, you got some big bats, Caminiti.
Certainly.
I just think these guys had a fantastic season. They weren't supposed to beat Houston. They had no chance against the Braves, and all of a sudden, the boys are in the World Series. So it'll be interesting to sit back and watch.
I hope it goes 7 games.
Yeah, certainly hope it goes 7 games. Because, I mean, you've got David Wells going home to San Diego. There's been a lot of media hype and everything about that. And I think it does well for the city of San Diego as well. I mean, here's a team that hasn't been to the big show in 14 years. So, and I mean, you see them selling out. The stadium will hold 70,000 for a baseball game. So I think baseball has done a great resurgence after the strike a couple of years ago in bringing the fans back. Would you agree with that?
Well, actually, about 2 years ago, they sold that team off almost as bad as the Expos have been. I mean, they were down to nobody there, and they built it back. They got an owner with some money, basically, which is the way to win nowadays. But they've done a great job. It's good to see. I'd rather see the Yankees play the Expos in the World Series, or, you know, I'd like to see. I'd love to see them rebuild that team. If they get a downtown stadium. And
a couple of years ago, that almost came to fruition if it hadn't been for the strike.
Exactly right.
One more time, let's jump back to the NHL. Who wins the Cup? Who do you like? And who's your dark horse? We know you love Montreal.
Well, of course.
That question's answered.
Team to pick? Detroit.
Detroit? Who do you like, Bruce?
Philadelphia Flyers.
Flyers?
Yes.
Lindros has his big year this year?
A career year. Leclerc will score 60. And with Van Beesbrook shoring up their goaltending there, they'll go a long way. They should win it.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, I wish you all the best in the upcoming season. Thank you very much for dropping by tonight.
Thanks,
Jimmy.
And thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to join us again next Monday night at 6 o'clock. Once again, thank you to Bruce and Bobby for dropping into the studio tonight. And earlier this week, very sadly, we lost a good friend and a co-worker here at TVNB. Dave Ring passed away very suddenly from a heart attack. We'd like to wish the Ring family all the best. And David, this show's for you. You're gone, but certainly not forgotten. We hope to see you next Monday at 6.